What's up, fellas? You see the title of the video. Week 10 is gone in what has been an absolutely confusing week of football, at least personally for me. So let's just get the elephant out of the room first. Let's talk about the UNLV Rebels. What the hell was that game? I shouldn't be surprised at this point. This defense has been terrible. Well, hold on. Before I continue on how disappointed I am in this team, I gotta give some congratulations to UNM. The Lobos came out there motivated, disciplined, and just a better football team overall. Jason Eck is a great coach, and honestly, going into the new Mountain West, it's going to be exciting to see if we can both keep our coaches to see who's going to be the top of this league. I also have to give a shout out to their fan base, because I went to this game, and even though there was not a lot of Lobos in the building, they were definitely there, definitely cheering, supporting their team, and are absolutely bought into where this program is going to go. Going back to the Rebels, the defense under Paul Guenther has failed us. It's failed the program. It's failed everything we've built over the last 3 years. It is disgusting that every weekend for the past 3 weeks, give or take a bye, we have given up a minimum of 500 yards a game. To Boise, I get it. To New Mexico, I kind of get it, even though this isn't an offensive juggernaut of a team. To a 1-7 Air Force team, to give up almost 600 yards is not a standard we should set. But Paul Guenther has continuously this season shown that he is inept at calling plays, getting this defense ready, and at this point I agree with some of the fan base that says any defensive assistant could do a better job. It cannot be worse than allowing this guy to ruin Saturdays for the Rebels in what has been a offensively great year. But the offense isn't blameless in this. We, once again, started the game way too lazy, way too, confused or something. Corey Dennis needs to figure out what he likes to do and stick to it. It is ridiculous that we allowed that team to get up 21 points before our offense finally showed up. And then once we finally got the lead, our defense, once again, was like, all right, cool. We don't care about winning this game. How do you come back from 21 points down to score 21 straight because we got a lucky pick six? Just for our defense to go out there and shit the bed again. It's becoming almost impossible every week to hold momentum in our games. The lapses mentally on defense are so frustrating for me and the entire fan base to watch every weekend. Something has to change. I don't know. I don't want to call for someone's job. It's not a cool thing to do. It's not fun, but he has to change something in the coaching staff if he wants this program to get to where we all think it can get to. In hindsight, I'm going to take some blame. I was one of the ones pushing this as a possible playoff team. I will say, though, it was when we had Arnett as DC that I was really bought into that idea. But we aren't that good of a team. A more realistic goal would have probably been 8-4, and I do think that's where we'll end up. But we have been completely overrated, and it's not a talent thing. I'm not saying that we are the most talented team, but to give up almost 40 points a game at some point is strictly on the X's and O's. Because I've seen worse talented teams give up less than 30 week in, week out. Dan Mullen has to do something. He has to make changes for these last 4 games because we can go 4-0 in these last 4. These are winnable games, and a 10-2 season looks great, but I can also see us completely turtling up and going 0-4. So something has to change in the program, or else he wasted his time and he wasted all the momentum this program has built. Either way, we have to finish out strong, get the best possible bowl we can, and build towards next year with hopefully a new coaching staff on the defensive end. It's still go Rebels. We have to beat CSU. I got to move off this game. If I keep talking about it, I'll just get more and more angry. So let's move on to another game I was definitely invested in with the USC Trojans heading up to Lincoln, Nebraska in what was a electric environment, at least from the TV screen. First things first, I do not feel joy about this game either way. I kind of have a soft spot for Nebraska. I think they're moving in the right direction, and football's better when they're good. I also am a big fan of their volleyball team. But secondly, USC actually played like utter dog shit in this game, and we have to talk about the main thing everyone else is talking about, Dylan Raiola getting hurt in this game. Did it affect the outcome? Maybe. But let's not forget, USC's defense was shutting him down too. So I don't think that's a fair assessment of what would have happened. And to be honest with you, I don't like playing in past tense situations. The game is over. We won. Now, I will give you, though, that clearly that backup quarterback was not ready to play. He was confused and, to be honest with you, just looked scared overall. He was not ready for that moment. So I'm sure it did play some somewhat of a role in the win. Ultimately, though, coaching does matter, and Matt Rule's time management cost Nebraska a lot of opportunities later on in that game. The person I feel the worst for is Emmett Johnson. That dude is a baller. He's a borderline day 2 pick in the NFL draft, at least in my eyes, and to end the game with him just tripping over his own feet is not the way you want to end it. Hopefully they can finish out the year 9-3 with the backup. Back to USC though, we got to start with the negatives. Offensively, SC was inept, and that has to fall on 1, Lincoln Riley. Play calling early on was awful again. 2, Maeva, buddy, you got to make better decisions, man. I mean, there was a lot of moments in this game where he was underthrowing the ball or throwing it into double coverage, and we're lucky we didn't get more picks. I got to give their defense a little more credit than I think originally I would have. I thought they were overrated when it came to passing yards allowed with that number 2 overall ranking, but man, was I wrong. They are super sticky in that DB room. What that game kind of showed me though is that I have not made my decision overall on Lincoln Riley. Like, I think most of the fan base is going to tell you that we're kind of fed up with a lot of stuff he does. At the same time, he made some play calls, 1 or 2, like that flea flicker, that was very important to winning this game. So we can't just sit here and say he was completely awful and terrible. Time management for the first time, I think he won against another coach. So I don't know if that's more on Rule or more on Riley actually growing as a coach. So with me being negative, I guess a win is a win, and it allows us to be a playoff potential team going forward for at least the next couple weeks. Move on to the positives. We got our ability to run the ball back. The embarrassment in South Bend can now be put to rest. King Miller looked like the guy against Michigan, not against the Fighting Irish. And his brother was blocking his ass off out there too, so that's pretty cool to know that USC has 2 guys that aren't on scholarship, probably would start for most other P4 teams outside of the top 4. Getting Elijah Page back was huge. Just his size and strength, being able to move people off the ball against their will. The guy is a first-round pick, at least when it comes to physical profile. Defensively, our DB room held up pretty well. I mean, I don't care about the injury or whatever, just in general. They actually look like they know what they're doing. Our D-line actually was good for more than just a pass rush. They were making a lot of the stops at the line when we needed it, and overall just getting in the way of the offensive line's ability to effectively run block. Some numbers real quick. Maeva was 9 of 23 in that really terrible interceptions for 135, though he did use his legs a lot more in this game, and I think that ended up helping us win the game. I mean, he scored a touchdown doing that. King Miller's numbers, 18 carries, 130, and a tud. Overall, it was an awful game to watch if you are expecting a different USC team that we got accustomed to. But it's a great result. It's a win we desperately needed. It gives us an opportunity to show why we deserve to be in this year's playoff. And it could be a precursor to a bigger win in Autzen in a couple weeks. You got to play a whole lot better going forward though. So fight on. Get ready for the Wildcats on Friday in a short week. Let's do the Mountain West roundup, starting with Army at Air Force. Unfortunately, the Falcons dropped this one. Honestly, probably had to do with Liam Sarka's 2 interceptions. They lost 20-17. Went on to the upset and actual ass beating of the week. Fresno State dominated Boise on the blue. Early on in this game, Max Cutforth had to come in for Maddox Madison due to injury.
He was not ready at all.
But 30-7 is no joke. Even though they dropped the game to San Diego State, in which I thought they should have won, they rectify it by beating a really good Boise team. Wyoming got their doors blown off by San Diego State, but kept it closer than I thought they would, 24-7. And finally, the game I called. San Jose State beat Hawaii at home. It just always felt like a game Hawaii was going to drop. Walker Eget made sure of it. Almost 500 yards of passing and 2 tuds. This looked like the team that was supposed to be at the top of the Mountain West before the season. All right, let's look at nationally and then get out of here. Vandy at Texas. I feel bad for Vandy. I feel bad for Pavia. This could have been his Heisman moment. Instead, they lost 34-31. Vandy still has an outside shot at the playoffs, but hard to come back after defeats like this. SMU took down Miami. Miami now is going to have to rely on a ton of ACC chaos to get to the playoffs. It's possible Possible, just unlikely. Utah absolutely beat in Cincinnati's head. Sorsby looked pedestrian in this game. Devin Dampier being in the lineup for the Utes ended up being the game changer. 45-14. Ooh, a bonus one for the Pac-12 Championship Part 1. Oregon State surprised the hell out of me, winning this matchup 10-7. Anthony Hankerson for the Beavs. They just got to keep giving him the ball. Honestly, he should have 45 carries a game because that is the only offense they can generate. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. As always, if you like stuff like this, subscribe. If you want to talk about anything that happened this weekend or something that's going to come up next week in college football, leave a comment. I think you should like the video.